Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. In today's episode, we get a glimpse of the new Sheriff's Office substation in DeBary. We'll take a look at a series of programs being offered at Volusia County libraries during the month of October and see how the county is combating the stray animal population. In Community Health Matters, Stephanie Strong reports on recent efforts to clean up the local shorelines in Volusia County. Business Beat reporter Joanne Magley highlights a recent conference of manufacturers held at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And finally, joining Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio is Jennifer Winters. She's the program manager for the county's Habitat Conservation Program. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office didn't have to go far to move into its new digs in DeBary. The new Public Safety Building at 79 South Charles Richard Beale Boulevard is right across the street from the previous location, but it's a world apart in terms of size and security. The 5,700 square foot facility built by the city of DeBary at a cost of about $1.2 million is twice the size of the previous building. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office provides law enforcement to DeBary under a contract with the city.
The building is an excellent partnership with the city of DeBary. The city of DeBary and their council decided to build the Sheriff's Office a facility that fits into their long plan to make this a public complex facility along with the fire station and adjacent to the city hall. Big differences between the old facility and the new facility. First of all, is the space. So having this building is a much safer environment. We have the latest technology in regards to ingress and digress of the building. You have to have cards to get into the building. It is secure. We have a secured lobby, and the holding cells are more secured. Overall, this is a much better building.
Nearly 60 employees and volunteers work out of the facility, including 27 sworn personnel, 20 school crossing guards, and a group of citizens on patrol who provide a wide range of volunteer services. The sworn staff includes command personnel, patrol deputies, investigators, traffic deputies, and a K-9 unit who serve DeBary and the unincorporated areas of Orange City. The facility includes a secure lobby, staff offices, a briefing room, evidence room, conference room, and 2 small interview rooms. It also features 3 secure holding cells for temporary confinement while prisoners are being processed or detained. Citizens can get a look at the new facility during a public open house from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, October 17th. The center is near DeBary City Hall, just north of Columba Road. The Volusia County Public Library System is celebrating Health Happens in the Library Month with a series of free programs that offer health and wellness tips, Medicare advice, and information about common diseases of the elderly.
Well, it's Health Happens in Your Libraries month during the month of October. We think this is a great month because if you look at October, look what's coming up. You have the holidays, you have all that food and more food. Then you have the stress of the holidays, and then to boot, we have cold and flu season. So libraries are looking for a way for you to come in, find some information to help you with all those different things during the month of October. Besides the programming, we have several databases that'll help you investigate maybe what your doctor's told you in the office that you didn't quite understand, or the medicine that he's providing for you, or to look up doctors and dentists in the area and find out information about them. Almost every single library in Volusia County are doing some programs for Health Happens in Libraries Month. There are not costs in any program that's at a public library. They're free and open to the public. Some of the libraries ask you to call and reserve a place because they have limited seating in some places, but everything is free.
Topics range from Alzheimer's disease to improving your health with yoga. The libraries are offering more than 80 programs that focus on wellness this month. For a list of upcoming health programs, you can visit volusialibrary.org and click on the calendar. Unfortunately, each year thousands of unwanted dogs and cats are killed at area humane societies. In fact, the majority of animals that are impounded by the animal control offices of the county and cities are not returned to their owners. The cost to care for these stray animals and dispose of them after the waiting period is a substantial expense. Recently, the Volusia County Council approved the expenditure of $250,000 for the county's annual contracts with the Halifax Humane Society and the Southeast Volusia Humane Society. The Humane Societies house animals picked up in the incorporated areas of Volusia County. They collect fees from owners of the animals that are returned and credit billings to the county.
I see that number going down. We're very proud of that. And we hope to keep that trend where reducing the amount of animals that are picked up and the animals that are being killed, because unfortunately the Humane Society really make a great effort to try to adopt every animal that comes in, but it's impossible to adopt every animal that comes in when you're picking up over 2,000 animals a year.
Volusia County has a mobile veterinary clinic that offers low-cost spaying and neutering services to dogs and cats in unincorporated areas and the cities of DeLand and South Daytona. Since the Pet Vet Cruiser started making rounds in 2007, more than 19,000 dogs and cats have been sterilized. For more information about the Pet Vet Cruiser, you can visit volusia.org/petvet.
Established by Congress in 1914, University of Florida IFAS Extension has been providing solutions for 100 years. We bring research-based information to individuals, businesses, and communities. As part of the land-grant university system, we have experts in every one of Florida's 67 counties. Our educational programs improve lives, build economies, and help protect the state's valuable natural resources. We're committed to providing reliable information that impacts the lives of every Floridian. As Florida continues to grow, UF IFAS Extension will be there to provide practical solutions to Florida's most challenging problems. University of Florida IFAS Extension, solutions for the next 100 years.
About 1,000 people attended this year's VMA Showcase. Reporter Joanne Magley has more on this annual manufacturing event that keeps businesses connected in this week's Business Beat.
The 9th annual VMA Showcase, held at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, attracted students, citizens, and business people, all there for the same reason, to learn more about the manufacturers here in Volusia County. Area manufacturers like Bob Cate, president of Advanced Machining in New Smyrna Beach.
Well, we started out in, like I said, 1,200 square feet, and we ended up moving into a 7,000 square foot building, and we got that building totally full. We cannot put anything else in there.
Cate says he's also renting space to accommodate his needs, and depending on what happens in the economy over the next few years, he may need to expand again. Many people recognize the products at the Edgewell Personal Care booth, but not the name. What began in Ormond Beach as Hawaiian Tropic in 1969 was sold to Playtex in 2007, then Playtex was bought by Energizer that same year.
In late 2014, they decided the company was too diverse, so they started working on splitting the company. And then July 1st of this year, Energizer split into Edgewell Personal Care and Energizer Holdings.
Edgewell produces 75% of the Hawaiian Tropic and Banana Boat products sold around the world. The company recently started an aerosol line that will also produce about 75% of the worldwide production. That new production line will create about 25 new jobs. Neil says the connections and networking are a huge benefit of being a VMA member, and it's that connection that helped his company get through a potential production crisis.
A classic example was we had an air conditioner unit fail that was critical to our production, And we reached out through the VMA, and we were actually able to borrow a complete air handling unit, it was probably a $100,000 unit from another company that prevented us from shutting our plant down.
Jane Pfeiffer is the president of VMA and says what's new at this year's expo was an even stronger connection between the manufacturers and education.
We will have manufacturers working with the students. For example, during the month we will have some of our young engineers and young manufacturers are going to go into the classrooms and talk about careers in manufacturing, why they're passionate about manufacturing. We have our students going out on bus tours to our manufacturers. For example, the new Smyrna Beach Engineering Academy will tour Boston Whaler. The Mainland Academy of Simulation and Robotics is going to go out to Radon and Bob Space Racers.
The VMA Expo included 2 competitions, student robotics and an art competition.
The art competition, while it's not new, we've had it every year. This year is a little more exciting than it has been in the past because we've added a 3D component to it. And it's our high school students that are printing things out of their 3D printers. And this year we have an entry by the Edgewater Public School, which is a K through 5, 5th grade level. And they just got their printer. We actually helped fund it with our Lou Pfeiffer Golf Tournament dollars. And it's the most darling little cup that these 4th and 5th graders have designed.
The VMA also wants high school students to know they can make a good living in manufacturing. The average annual wage is $52,000 a year. But despite the good pay, the industry has a number of job vacancies. To address this, the showcase featured a job placement center, which listed the more than 300 job openings from entrance level to mechanical engineers. Pfeiffer says there is a pathway for someone to start in manufacturing at above average wages, even if they don't have experience.
But manufacturing is moving towards very advanced manufacturing, so people that have mechanical skills and they have good math skills can have a fabulous career in manufacturing, and they can enter the path at any way with 0 skills to 3 months of training, 6 months of training, 2 years, 4 years, and the opportunities are limitless.
With more than 450 manufacturers in Volusia County, there's a good chance one of those products has found its way into your life. For the Business Beat, I'm Joanne Magley.
Volunteers recently hit the beach to clean up shoreline refuse before litter had a chance to make its way into Volusia's waterways and beyond. Stephanie Strong has the report in this week's Community Health Matters.
Lee Fairclough arrived at the designated location on Daytona Beach early Saturday morning, put on his plastic gloves, and hit the sand. He picked up as much trash as possible.
We have a lot of people out this morning. It's gorgeous weather. We're picking up a lot of cigarette butts, pieces of plastic, kids' toys, that type of thing. And it's really important that we keep the beach as clean as possible, not only for our tourists, but also for the people that live here.
Just helps keep the beach clean, and there's a lot of things that could hurt wildlife that are left on the beach, and we need to get them picked up so that the wildlife aren't endangered.
Eric Madej filled his plastic bag with trash he found along the beach. Plastic, paper, glass, twigs, and plenty of cigarette butts.
There's a lot of trash on the beach, and it can be harmful to wildlife and to just the aesthetics of the beach. And so we're out here getting our exercise and picking up trash at the same time.
Both Eric and Lee are employees of the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County and also members of the Florida Environmental Health Association, or FEHA. FEHA coordinates the beach cleanup every year.
We're members of the Florida Environmental Health Association, which is an organization that tries to further the goals of environmental health, which is one of our divisions at the health department. So when we come out here on our own time on the weekends, every few times a year, and pick up trash.
Walking Florida's beaches, participating in the beach cleanup is a perfect way to get physical activity, and the Florida Department of Health encourages regular physical activity for both adults and children.
it's not only important to keep everything clean for the people around here that stay and visit, but it's also excellent for your health, the walking, any part of it, and the air, that fresh air and that ocean breeze is wonderful. It's a great thing to do all the time.
Well, as you're picking up thousands of cigarette butts, you have to bend over and pick them up. It does help, and it's nice to walk on the beach. It's a good atmosphere to walk in, and it helps the community at the same time.
Not far away at Smyrna Dunes Park in New Smyrna Beach, DOH Volusia tobacco prevention employees and students working against tobacco, or SWAT members, collected 278.3 pounds of trash, including 713 cigarette butts.
I've even brought my 3.5-year-old grandson out with us today, and my son. We're trying to teach him to be environmentally protective.
Florida Health Cleans Up is a venture of Healthiest Weight Florida, a public-private collaboration bringing together state agencies, not-for-profit organizations, businesses, and entire communities to help Florida's children and adults make consistent, informed choices about healthy eating and active living. The department's goal is to encourage physical activity and walking while emphasizing how small choices affect your health and environment. For more information about Healthiest Weight Florida, please visit www.healthiestweightfl.com. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
Well, it's time now to head into the studio to join our very own Community Information Director Dave Byron with his guest Jennifer Winters. They'll update us on the county's Habitat Conservation Plan.
Thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. The recent high tides that reached up to the dune line on Volusia beaches destroyed several turtle nests along our coastline. But even so, this has been a very good year for turtle nesting activity. Today, we'll get the latest on how the turtle nesting season has been on Volusia beaches when we talk with Jennifer Winters, the county's Habitat Conservation Plan Manager for Volusia County Environmental Management. Jennifer, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Hey, let's start just for those folks that don't understand turtle nesting season. It's from when to when, Jennifer?
It's officially from May 1st through the end of October.
And so it's a busy time for you and your staff. Give us kind of a rundown on what you do during nesting season.
Well, we've got people out on the beach every morning looking for new sea turtle nests right at the crack of sunrise.
Yeah.
And, they're marking all those nests. And then all the way through the end of October, we check the nest every single day to look for hatching activity.
And all of this, of course, is regulated by the Habitat Conservation Plan, which spells out how you're supposed to monitor and protect the endangered species along Volusia County beaches.
Right. Since we have vehicles that drive here, there's a lot of work that's done by these volunteers first thing in the morning before we open the beaches to the public vehicles.
So as I said at the opening, Jennifer, we had some recent high tides from Hurricane Joaquin. Didn't really directly affect Florida, but it did, produce some high tides along our beaches. And I guess we lost some nests, because of that activity.
We did. Unfortunately, when the eggs that are buried underneath the sand get covered with water for too long, they'll essentially drown. They need an air exchange. So we had about 60 nests at the start of the storm and the high tide activity. There's still about 50 remaining buried in the sand, but unfortunately, most likely they won't be very successful.
All of this, I guess, is part of Mother Nature's cycle, huh?
That's true.
So when we look at overall the nesting activity on Volusia beaches, from what I understand, this has been a pretty good year.
Yeah, actually, this year was the third highest on record in Volusia County, and in the last 4 years, we've had our 3 highest nest count years. So
yeah, and it's interesting as you and I have talked, year over year. It seems like the numbers in general are statewide, and in our beaches are going upward.
Yes, scientists are definitely seeing an upward trend in a lot of these species that have been, protected, and there's been a lot of efforts to help recover them in the last 25 years.
So I guess you're going to pat yourself on the back and say part of this is because we're doing a good job. I mean, what is the reason why the activity is improving?
Well, certainly there's a lot of people. I mean, statewide, there's a lot of efforts that are being made to improve the habitat and help these species recover and bring their populations back.
Mm-hmm. Which is a really good thing, statewide, of course. So let's talk about how you go about, counting up the number of nests. What's the process?
Well, again, every day we're out there right at sunrise, and the whole entire 36 miles of county beaches are monitored. We look closely for, new tracks of turtles
Right.
that have crawled on the beach the night before, and we look closely to determine if they've laid eggs or not.
Right.
So each nest location gets very clearly marked. A data form is done and submitted to my office, and so we keep track of every single nest that happens.
We can't really let this discussion go without giving a great shout out to all those volunteers that help your staff. I mean, there's some very dedicated people that are out there in some early morning hours. It can be a little tough weather-wise. Yep. Tell us how the volunteers come into play.
Well, they're, again, just a small army of people who are really dedicated and love the beach and love the sea turtles. So they are, out there in hot, buggy conditions, and sometimes through, rain and very uncomfortable days. But their, efforts are sometimes even thankless work that they're just working so hard. But to see those nests and to watch them through until the time that they hatch is really just an amazing, way that they get their thanks. And they love the work, so we really appreciate them out there doing it every day.
So let's talk about this cycle. I guess, the female turtle, crawls ashore, lays the eggs. What happens from that point? How long does it take?
Here in Volusia County, it depends on the temperature during the season, but it's usually between 46 and 60 days. Some nests will go longer, up to 70 or even 80 days, if the temperatures are cooler.
Are there a typical number of eggs in each nest? Is there?
Yeah, usually on average there's at least 100 eggs.
Really?
Yep.
And so when the hatchlings, emerge from the eggs, then they head to the ocean.
Yes, instinctually they're born with an energy reserve, and scientists refer to it as a frenzy.
Really?
And so they're in a frenzy mode to get to the water, where they're going to swim for many miles to reach the Gulf Stream.
Wow.
And here off Volusia, that can be 20 plus miles offshore.
Right.
So they really need that energy reserve. And it's one of the reasons we have our lighting ordinance in place, is so that they don't get distracted by lights and they make their way directly to the water.
That's an excellent point, Jennifer, that we probably ought to just stress for a minute. The beaches are dark along Volusia County during the nesting season. And as you just said, that's, to prevent what you folks call disorientations.
Correct. Artificial lighting that is brighter than the natural horizon of the moon reflecting over the ocean actually attracts turtles into the wrong direction.
Right.
So when we have 100 eggs hatching out of a nest and multiple nests hatching each night, this can really be problematic.
Right.
So our ordinance is in place. We try to educate and help people safely light their properties, but try to keep that light so it only shines on their properties and not out onto the beach.
And one of the interesting things that takes place at the end of every day is, there was a contractor along the beach that picks up the trash and the recycles and that sort of thing, but he also kind of smooths out the beach to kind of make that smooth sailing for the hatchlings.
Yes, and it's a lot of hard work as well that they do, but that's exactly right. They go out and they check each of those nests that we know are due to hatch within that hatch period, and they'll actually smooth the sand. They'll remove any sort of obstacles, including signs and things left behind by people at the beach. So.
And Jennifer, generally, what type of turtles do we see along Volusia County beaches?
Our most common species is the loggerhead sea turtle. Our next most common species would be the green, and then we have leatherbacks.
Right.
And actually this year was another record high. We had 14 leatherback nests this year in Volusia County, so that was a pretty good number for us.
And some of these turtles can get pretty large.
Yes, the leatherbacks are the big ones.
Yeah.
They get over 1,000 pounds. They can look the size of a double bed.
Unbelievable.
Very, very amazing creatures.
And of course, as part of this, the county has the Marine Science Center down in Ponce Inlet, which takes in injured sea turtles, seabirds, that sort of thing. And of course, sometimes those hatchlings can wash back. So those folks down at the Marine Science Center kind of work hand in glove with you they make them well and then they release them.
Right, right. And we help them by picking them up off the
Right.
beach and bringing them to the hospital. And they've had a lot of turtles come in injured this year and have done a lot of releases as well.
Right.
So they're doing a great job down there.
And you know, the public seems to be fascinated with sea turtles. Every time there's a release, you know, several hundred people show up and cheer and that sort of thing.
Right.
Why do you think the public is so fascinated with these creatures?
I don't know. Sea turtles are really charismatic. They're good-looking animals. They're rare to see in the ocean. So having an opportunity and a place like the Marine Science Center where they have them, you know, there that people can actually go see them in person is really a rare opportunity that people, you know, covet.
So if I'm on the beach at night and I come upon a nest, what should I do or not do?
Well, keep your flashlight off and keep your cell phone spotlight off. Try to let your eyes adjust to the natural light. You can walk up to the nest barrier and see if there's any activity. If there is, maybe hatchlings emerging, just sort of stand back and let nature take its course. They instinctually need to make that journey to the water their own. So when they're mature and want to come back and nest, they'll come back to their same nesting beach here in Volusia.
If there are people out there that would like to get involved with this program, volunteer to help you, how do they do that?
Well, the easiest way to find out is through our website at volusiaseaturtles.org. We have some links to alliances and groups, including these nest monitoring groups that go out every morning.
So we could always use citizens that want to give us a hand, huh?
Oh, of course.
Jennifer, for people that perhaps would like to talk to you in person, do you go out and talk to civic groups or that sort of thing?
Oh, sure. We do that upon request. So if anybody, wants more information, just contact our office.
Well, Jennifer, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us today. Sounds like it's been an exciting year on Volusia beaches. Nesting season actually ends the end of this month?
Yep, the end of this month. So we have still, like I said, about 50 nests left on the beach right now.
And they may go a little later, and sometimes they come a little earlier.
Right.
Our guest today, Jennifer Winter, she's with Volusia County Environmental Management. She's the Habitat Conservation Plan Manager. Again, Jennifer, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can always feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osman. Have a wonderful evening.